We're in front of an auction car today, and that's for a reason. Today we want to cover the subject of odor removal. A lot of the times in the videos, you're going to see me open up the car door in some of these that have been sitting forever, and it almost knocks me the hell out. Some of these odors I'm talking about, smells like a rubber boot, stuff with hot pepper cabbage.
I can't imagine. And it being in an auction car, you have no idea where it came from, who owned it, whatever. It's just there.
A lot of them are impounds and when banks take their repossessions and their personal stuff and their last meals are in there. It is so sad to see sneakers and socks and clothes and food. It was their last minutes and it got impounded. So where are they? So that's a different subject for another day. What we want to talk about today is the odor left behind from the unfortunate process.
Right.
This one here has more of an older, musty smell. The seals aren't very good. It has mold, mildew smells, and whatever else crawled up in there and died. So we want to talk about odor remediation and how to remove it.
What do you think is the best way, depending on, let's just say, your average, everyday, soccer mom car? Like the other day, Chelsea just did a video on cigarette smokes that had been in there for forever, and she had to do an extraction and all kinds of craziness to get all that tar and stuff out. What would you do on an average odor remediation? It's just kind of lived in. I think the owner of BioBombs calls it nose blindness or something. How would you go about it?
I know about the nose blindness, but you want to combine mechanical with chemical. A process to get rid of that odor. And, I don't know why we're shooting shit about this one. We have an expert here today, and I'm very pleased.
As a matter of fact, we do. Hey, Christian from BioBombs, what are you doing here, brother? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello, everybody. So, as the boys were saying, this is an 01 Corvette. Smells a little bit of stale, a little bit of rank in there from kind of past experiences, rodents, whatever it might be that are living inside. So, we're going to do today, we're going to do our vehicle deodorization treatment. This is what I would consider to be your general fix for most of your odor issues.
And then a question, would this be your last step, or could this be used instead of like mechanical scrubbing and soaps and detergents? Could you just use this, or would this be the last step in the process?
If it was a bad odor, I would definitely make it the last step in the process. We have something called our minis, which you use to kind of clean surfaces. You can put them inside mechanical devices like you mentioned, steamer, extractor, things like that. For most odor situations, from I'd say like a 7 and below, 10 being the worst, you can put this in the vehicle and it'll do everything you need to get done to remove the odor. If you had something, it would be like an 8, 9, or a 10. Obviously, you always want to make sure you're cleaning all your panels down. You're getting in between the seats. You're cleaning out inside the ventilation system. You're pulling air filters if the car has it. But ultimately, this should do the trick for most of your regular odors that you're going to deal with. Excellent. Cigarettes, gasoline, food, urine, feces.
I've used it. I came upon it on my channel, probably going on a year or two already, and I used it and I was very impressed, and I did a video on it, and I'm happy to have you here today.
Honored to be here.
So we're going to jump into a car and just give a quick overview of the product, how to use it, how it works.
So like I said, if we had that 10 on an odor scale, you want to do a pre-treatment on the surfaces and subsurfaces with the minis. These are super simple to use. You can use them in a bunch of different ways. You could use them with a bottle of water, 32 ounces, put one of these in. You could also mix it inside your favorite all-purpose. Typhon's a great one that we mix with all the time. It'll boost the cleaning properties and the deodorization properties of the cleaner you're using. After that, you would then go into the vehicle treatments. Now, the vehicle treatments are designed really to focus on treating the air. These are designed for surface and subsurface. This is to treat the air. So today what we're going to do, because this car isn't that bad, it does have an odor, we're just going to treat the air. Super simple process. We're going to fill the jar up to the line with water. There's a tablet inside here. All right, we're going to drop this tablet inside the jar with the water, set that inside the cup holder, and let it do its thing. Basically shut the door, give it a couple hours, and typically you're good. Now, in a situation where we're rushed or you have to get a really bad odor out, this is just an aerator pump. This is going to go clip itself to the top of the jar. This is going to agitate the surface tension of the water, thus forcing the gas to come out of the jar almost like it's on steroids. So you'll get a reduced treatment time, and in addition to that, you're actually going to increase the potency of the gas. So for those really difficult odors, the extra gas off that comes from the jar will actually be a big help. All right, cool, guys. Let's take a peek inside here and see what we're dealing with. All right, so traditional, old school Corvette style. There's not really any way to put the jar in this particular vehicle. We're actually going to be able to jam it right here and we should be okay. So we're going to fill this thing up with water. Get this out of here real fast. Two. Hi. Give me blood set. Now we're good. We're good.
Good?
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, guys, we're all filled up right here. Always make sure you read all your safety and precautionary information included here. This is an oxidizer, guys. We don't want to sit inside this vehicle. When you're playing around with any type of product that's strong, you want to make sure you're always wearing the proper PPE. If you do need to re-enter the vehicle, we always recommend not to touch the tablet with your hands as well. There's going to be a little do not enter sign here when the treatment's getting done. Put this outside the vehicle. Make sure you lock the doors and everybody know not to enter the vehicle. Now, because we're using the aerator today, it's going to be a 1 hour treatment. So we'll do this. We'll come back in an hour, but I'm going to show you guys how the process works. Like I said, there's a tablet inside here. Rip this bad boy open. You guys can see that in there. I'm going to drop this bad boy in here. Would you mind passing me that aerator, kind sir? All right, guys, we're going to clip this bad boy on right here. Make sure the tube's inserted into the water. Pop this on here. Turn this on. You just want to get a shot of that, Brian. Might be able to see that kind of bubbling in there a little bit. Now, guys, what's going to happen is the gas is going to start to release itself inside the vehicle. At this point, we're going to close everything up. The main thing is you want to keep this vehicle closed for the entire treatment time because the concentration of the gas is what's actually going to do the job to get rid of this odor. So a couple other things we'll do real fast. We'll set these down. And typically, we can fasten the seatbelts as well. We'll seal this thing up, and we'll be back in an hour. It's already starting to smell a little bit like bleach and chlorine here, so we got to go.
Christian, I got a question for you.
Fire away, sir.
Back in the old school method of doing like the ozone machines and things of that nature, they would always say, turn the car on and use the recycler so that it's going through the vents and the air and all of that stuff.
Sure.
Like, obviously, we're not doing that here. We're in a garage
Right.
and the car's not running. Is there pros and cons, or just we kind of bypass it because of how good that works?
So you have a couple of different choices. With the pump, if you have to run the vehicle, you can, right? You're going to run the vehicle for 1 hour. Typically, we say put the heat and the air right up the middle. AC on or off, depending on what season it is for you, and turn it on. Recirculate has to be on. You want to make sure that air is going back through the ventilation system. It's not necessary, but if you can do it, we advise to do it if you can.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And if there's an air filter, that's the most important part. People don't realize a lot of the times. If you don't remove that dirty air filter, you're kind of wasting that gas because it's going through and it's filtering through the filter. And instead of like trying to get the odors out of the cabin area, it's focusing on something that's a replaceable part. It's better to just take that out before you do the treatment. All right, guys, we're all finished up. It's been a little bit over an hour right now. We're going to pop back inside the vehicle, get rid of the jar inside. We're going to smell the car, find out how it turned out. Aerator's still working, as you guys could tell. This jar is now pretty much clear compared to the yellow liquid. Treatment's actually now completed. What we typically do at this point, we'll flip up the sun visors, get everything back to normal. So typically when you open the vehicle doors up, the amount of air outside the cabin rushes inside the car and it gets everything below the recommended levels of having to worry about any type of inhalation or irritation or whatnot. Right now, for everybody at home, kind of smells almost like a swimming pool inside here. You might see a little bit of fog kind of inside the vehicle. That's all kind of exiting as we're leaving the doors open, but it smells very much like a swimming pool or like a bleach bomb just went off. So now that the treatment's done, the odor's gone, the car smells clean. We actually offer some 60-day deodorizers. These things are pretty cool. You snap them in half. You rip the package open. You take one of these out here. All right, it's just a fibrous board soaked in some oils. You're going to stick this underneath the passenger side seat, and that'll last about 30 to 60 days for one of these sections. You'll roll this up here. You'll place this with a rubber band around it, and you can save this one for later. All right, guys, so we have a total of 8 air freshener bars that we have. We actually just threw the dope soap inside the Corvette. We have Pop and Cherry. We have a new car nectar. We have iced out, Vitamin C, Squash LLC, which is a lemon lime cola. That's a really great one. Fresh AF, which is our most popular seller, and Vanilla Cream. Speaking of Fresh AF, this is actually an air freshener spray we just came out with last year. This is designed and made with the same oils that go into the Fresh AF air freshener bar. This is our most popular seller, so we made a scent. If you guys want to see a different scent, start picking up some other flavors, and we'll eventually come out with the scent for whatever tops out Fresh AF. This is super easy to use. Spray it on carpets, in the headliner, underneath the seats, or in the trunk. And this will work perfect to just kind of give you that refresh that you're looking for. It's not necessarily deodorizer, it's more of an air freshener spray. Thank you very much, guys, for having us.